Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be a lot different than the videos that I normally film, but I really just wanted to get this off my chest, and I've said in 2020 that I want to be a lot more honest and real with you guys and more open with you guys about just me and like my life and things that I've gone through. And I think that a lot of people especially portray this, but I know that I do portray myself as being somebody that's so happy, that's thriving and always doing well, and that's not always true, and it's okay for that to not always be true. And so I just wanted to talk about like things that have been going on in my life recently and everything. I seriously have replayed this video, like how I'm gonna film this video. I've talked to myself in the car. I have done everything to basically picture how this video was gonna go, what I was gonna say, and I truthfully still don't know how this video is gonna go or what I'm gonna say, but I'm just gonna go for it. And I don't even know if this is gonna make it on my YouTube channel or if I'm gonna have to film this 40 more times until I feel like I got like all my words out that I want to say in this video. But I just kind of wanted to be open and honest and real and raw with you guys about what's been going on with me recently. So my whole life, I would say, I've been dealing with anxiety, but I didn't really know it as much growing up. But I can remember back to literally 10 years old at a dance competition having my first panic attack, and didn't really know what it was then. My mom didn't know what it was then. Like, we didn't really, get it then. And I can remember times when as I got older where I had different panic attacks in different moments like that. And as I got older, I was just really good at like hiding it almost. Like, I would have panic attacks in different moments at dance competition events, like even just being like at a lunch or a dinner, a meeting, I don't even know. Like, I can just picture different times that I had these panic attacks, but I didn't know exactly kind of what they were, and I was very good at hiding the emotion or hiding the feelings almost from myself. But now as I have gotten older, it definitely has taken over me in a different way almost. I think I'm just gonna go into kind of what I've been going through just recently, and this is definitely the worst my anxiety has ever been. This is the most severe it has ever been. It has literally been taking over my life. I would say during the summer it started a little bit, where it's even like whenever I was in Cabo and I was with my friends, I was having these panic attacks of, I don't even know what of, but how I feel when I get these panic attacks is my heart starts like racing out of my chest. I get this like crazy pressure headache throughout my head, and it almost feels like I'm gonna literally pass out. Like, I just can't breathe, like my throat starts closing up, I start getting really blurry vision, and it just is like these feelings that it doesn't feel good. I don't wish anxiety on a single person, panic attacks on even my worst enemy, whoever you are. I don't wish it upon anybody. It's so just painful and overtakes your life. And I think a lot of people that don't have anxiety don't always understand what it's like, because it's also different for everybody. So it's like my symptoms might not be like somebody else's when they get a panic attack, but these are just mine. And I would say over the summer I started to get them pretty bad, to the point where it's like I was even like, I have a heart problem, like something's wrong with me. So I would go to the doctor, and like I got EKGs and like all these things, and they were like, you just have panic attacks and you're getting anxiety. So I started to go to therapy before I moved to LA, and I definitely got better. But then once I got here, I was definitely doing better, but that was because I was very, very busy. And like whenever I first moved, it was like I was excited, I was finally on my own, doing my own thing, just very excited about moving out as, a teenager. Or I don't know if any of you guys have moved out recently or are getting ready to move out and are just like excited, and you're just like excited. And so for a while, I think I was just kind of on a high from that too. Like the first few weeks that I was living here, I had my friends from Arizona visiting me a lot. Like I was never really like alone, and I didn't give myself a lot of time to be anxious or think about being anxious. And I think growing up, that's also why I didn't have it as bad, is because I was so busy to the point there wasn't even time for me to like think. There wasn't even time for me to think about anything other than like dance, eat, sleep, school, you know? So I think now moving out and being alone sometimes, I needed to get used to just like being alone and being with my thoughts. And I have a very, very busy brain, so it's hard for me to just like sit and be alone with my thoughts. Like I'm always thinking about just anything or something. And it started to get really bad, and I've always had like these feelings, like I said, growing up, but I was just starting to understand them a lot more like now in LA. I was getting crazy social anxiety. Like anywhere I went, I just did not want to be there. Like these panic attacks were overtaking me. I couldn't eat. I couldn't even stand up. Like I was just like a mess. Like I thought I was going to pass out or something was going to happen to me every time I would talk to a person. And like even telling my friends to this day, they're like, but you've always been like the life of the party. You're always the one who's talking to everybody, having fun. And I just feel like I've been lying to myself. Like that wasn't me. I was having in my head, and how I was actually feeling while I was having these conversations and being outgoing was like crazy anxiety that was just coming over me. Like my heart was racing out of my chest. I couldn't even see like the person I was looking at. And this anxiety was taking over me, and I didn't even realize it because I wasn't accepting it. I was hiding it through everything. I was almost just like hiding a part of myself to myself, you know? Like I would put on this act everywhere I went. I would go hang out with my friends, go to this dinner, go to this party, whatever it was. I would go to these things even though I didn't want to, almost because I didn't want to let people like down. I didn't want people to know that I was actually feeling really anxious and really sick and really not well. And I think I was also like telling myself like, like I said, in this video, I don't even know if I'm making sense. I'm just kind of speaking and telling my story, but I'd be like, to myself, I'd be like, well, I need to get over this feeling. Like this feeling isn't real. Like I'm not actually anxious. I need to just go with my friends and go do these things. And it's like, no, I actually just needed to like stay at home and like realize why I was anxious and just kind of learn. But instead, I kept putting myself in these positions where I would feel this sensation through my body that was just so painful. Like I said, anxiety is so real and it's so painful, and it's almost like if you've never had it before, it's hard to like explain. So like I said, I don't know if this is making sense, but it got so bad to the point where I wore myself out. I made myself so tired from this. I literally wore myself out to pieces. The way I knew how bad it really was is about a month ago, like I went home for Christmas and New Year's, and I started to get it then, but kind of, it started to get worse then. Like now I look back at it and I see that it started to get worse then. I came back to LA, and that's when it got to the point where it was really, really bad. I mean, I spent 5 days sitting on this couch right here, like not able to move, like literally couldn't move. I was just either bawling or was emotionless and just watched movies and TV, and I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I couldn't even stand up. Like when I say I didn't shower or brush my teeth for 5 days, and I know that's disgusting, but I literally didn't. I couldn't move. There was bags deep under my eyes. Like I was calling somebody every 5 seconds because I felt like I needed to be on the phone with someone because I wasn't okay, and I thought I was literally like, I thought something was seriously wrong with me, that like I was really sick, or that I just like, I didn't even think I was gonna ever be like okay again. Like I thought that was it, like something was seriously wrong with me. It was those feelings of like my heart was racing, my head was pounding, I couldn't see a single thing, my chest was heavy, I couldn't breathe. Like I made my place a mess. Like there was food everywhere, clothes everywhere, and I'm not saying that I'm the cleanest person in the world, because I'm not the cleanest person in the world, but I'm definitely a lot cleaner than that. And that's when I realized like how serious and how bad this was. And I also think that like my mom, for instance, like she never really has ever had anxiety or really had it growing up. So she never really understood what I was saying. You know, people who don't completely understand it sometimes are just like, you're okay, you're fine, which is helpful, but it's also almost not helpful at all. So she would be very much so like, you're okay, like you're fine, like don't worry about it, like how about you just like get up and go shopping, like go do something, go walk outside. And it was like, I literally couldn't do that. Like I tried to go shopping and go somewhere, and I remember just like, I couldn't even drive. Like I drove there and I like was like ducking because I was like, I felt like everything was closing in on me, like to get into my car, to get into the store. Like I felt like I don't know, it was like the craziest feeling, and I just couldn't do anything but sit and lay on this couch. And I called my mom, and she just looked at me and she was like you're not okay, like you should really just like, you should come home, like you need to come home. And I was like, yeah, like I think I need to come home. And that was the best decision I think I've ever made, because I don't know where I would be today if I just like stayed on my couch and didn't move for days on end. But at that point, I like booked a flight. Literally, it was like 8 a.m. I booked a flight for like 4 p.m. and I like couldn't move. I couldn't even clean my place. I like forgot so many things. When I packed my bag, I packed like two sweatshirts, 2 sweatpants, like my makeup, and like face wash. I like literally forgot my toothbrush. Like I just like packed, and I was just like, I'm going to Arizona. And I left my place absolutely disgusting, and I just was not doing well. Like I was in like a 5-day long panic attack, depression, anxiety. I don't even know how to explain what that feeling was, because it's literally, it was the worst. It's the worst thing I've ever been through in my entire life. And I like got in my Uber, and I was literally, when I got to the airport, I couldn't even like walk. I was pulling my suitcase. I had to take like 5 steps, then I'd have to like go sit down and like take a breather, and like get up and take 5 seconds and like walk for a second, and then like sit down and take a breather. I was on the airplane, and I remember just having like these, like I literally was about to like call the flight attendant and be like, hey, like I don't know if I'm okay. Like I was just, anxiety is just overthinking and putting so many different thoughts into your head, and just like overfilling your brain with thoughts and emotions that you make. It's like, anxiety, I feel like, is, for me at least, it's just like I'm making up different scenarios in my head that like aren't even true. And once I landed in Arizona, I got to my mom, and she just saw me, and she was just like, okay, this is serious, like this is real, like this was like a real thing for me, like this wasn't fake, this was really like my life, and like something that I was going, like it was just really deep and real. And so when I got home, I felt like I had like a breath of fresh air almost, just like being with my family and being in the house I grew up in, and just kind of getting out of LA, because LA can be just a very toxic place in general. And I never really understood that saying until literally like this started happening to me. And I don't know if this is something that it might not even have anything to do with LA, but just like I think living on my own and like just like being out here. But I definitely think that there's more to it. But anyways, so I got back to Arizona, and I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't even go to dinner. I didn't even let my friends know that I was in Arizona. Like I was just very like, I'm staying at home, I'm not doing anything. And I didn't know how long I was going to be there. I thought that I only needed like 2 days and I was going to get better and then come back. And I just realized like, whoa, this is a lot deeper than I even thought. And I ended up spending about 3 weeks in Arizona, and a lot of people were asking me like, why are you in Arizona? Like, what are you doing? And I was honestly like embarrassed to say that I was having really bad anxiety, just because I feel like I felt like a lot of people like didn't understand it and thought that like it wasn't real, and like that I was actually just fine. And it's like, why, like what are you doing in Arizona? Like don't you live in LA? Like aren't you thriving in LA? Like aren't you having the best time, like going to all these parties, living by yourself in this beautiful apartment? Like aren't you having so much fun? And it's like, I was almost embarrassed about like being back in Arizona and being back with my family. And so I didn't really tell anybody like what I was doing. And like even some of you guys were asking like what I was doing in Arizona, just because I was there for so long, and like I was just like focusing on healing myself and making myself better. I was still posting on Instagram and things like that just because I felt like it was part of my job, and didn't want to let you guys down. I think I definitely could have posted less, but even like some of my friends were like, you're not posting as much, like are you doing okay? Like my really close friends. And truth is I just wasn't. Like I was just trying to get myself better. I was going to the doctor, just making sure that like everything was good with my body, just getting blood tests and like things like that, and just starting to get, you know, back on track. And during Arizona, I had my ups and downs. Like I had my deepest of lows. I mean, I think my darkest low was definitely when I was here for like 5 days on my couch by myself. But I had some pretty like dark lows. Like I remember I posted a picture on Instagram and I said like life is good. It was literally, I posted that photo, then like 5 minutes later, like in that outfit, I was bawling on my couch, like in my mom's arms, like just not doing well at all, like having an anxiety attack. And it was just a lot. But I think that being in Arizona really helped me realize coping mechanisms and ways to calm myself down, and just getting myself basically prepared to come back here and get my life started again. Because I talk about how I want to do all these amazing things for my business and for my work, and honestly, I had to heal myself before I could come back here and get back into working and get back into like the things that I love to do. And so while I was home, I started doing therapy and talking with my stepdad. My stepdad and I are, my stepdad and I are very similar in a lot of ways, which is really crazy. And we just kind of talked about ways to, you know, have on like a schedule and having a plan, because I think a lot of my anxiety came from is I'm a very busy person, I'm a busy brain, and that's what I enjoy to do. And I think whenever I moved, I kind of lost that part of me of being busy and always doing something and always being on a plan. So I'm just gonna kind of talk about, sorry, I'm like being very confusing in this video. I don't know what's making sense or if it's making sense at all, but I guess I'm just gonna kind of talk about like my coping mechanisms and like what I learned works best for me and my anxiety. So like I was saying, I grew up with a very busy schedule. I basically always had people telling me what to do, and I think moving out and me kind of having to make my own schedule and not really being in college, and it's like, in college, it's like, you know that every Wednesday at 2 p.m. you have class, or every Thursday at 4, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you still have somewhat of a schedule. For me, it's very sporadic. Like, I might have a meeting on Tuesday, I might have an audition on Monday, but it's not gonna be like that the next week too. So I think for me, I just needed to kind of get on more of a schedule. I needed to set up my goals and just like do things like that. For me, I love dance. Like, dance is my passion, and I think I lost that for a while too. Like, I took a piece of me that is me, and it's what I'm gifted at, it's what I love to do, it's what I'm meant to do, and I kind of took that piece away from me. I think that's because I put a lot of negative thoughts with it just from like growing up with dance, and I think I was a little burnt out from it. But I've now realized that how much I love dance, and I'm gonna start incorporating that a lot more into my life. Like, I live in LA where there's so much dance and so much to do for dance. So I'm definitely gonna start taking more classes. I started dancing a lot more like in Arizona whenever I was home, just like doing things that are nourishing for me, and just like caring about my self-care, and realizing like I don't have to go to every single event. I don't have to go to every single dinner that my friends are planning. Like, it's okay for me to be at home and like sit here, read a book, watch a TV show, make myself dinner, be by myself, go to a dance class by myself, go to a yoga class by myself. And I think that those are things that I needed to do. I also got a planner, because I feel like having a planner and writing down my plan for the day, my plan for the week, is also really good for me, and holding myself accountable. Because I think whenever I first moved here, I wasn't really holding myself accountable. Like, I would wake up at 8 a.m. and I'd be like, I don't really have anything to do today. Like, I'm just gonna go back to bed. That workout class that I planned for 9, I could just do it at 2 p.m. And it's like, no, hold yourself accountable, wake up and go to that class. And that also gave me lots of anxiety too, is whenever I wasn't doing things that I knew I had to do, like procrastinating gave me anxiety. So I was basically giving myself anxiety. I just think that for a while too, I wasn't always doing a ton of things that were good for me. Like, I wasn't doing things that made me happy, and I didn't even realize that. Like, I enjoy making other people happy, but it's also like there's certain things that I love to do that make me happy, and I wasn't really doing them anymore. And so that's definitely something that I'm incorporating into my next chapter of this, and just learning how to cope with my anxiety and realizing that it's like okay to have anxiety. Like, I think a lot of times too, I would be like, this isn't okay, like I shouldn't have anxiety, like I should be fine, I should be this. And it's like, no, just accept that you're having it, accept that you're having these feelings, these sensations throughout your body of just being anxious, and like accept it and like calm yourself down. And I think that's helped me a lot too, is like when I'm in a panic attack, if any of you guys have anxiety, whenever I'm in a panic attack or an anxiety attack or whatever it is, I will just accept it and be like, okay, I'm having an anxiety attack, I don't feel great right now, and that's fine, and I will get better, but right now this is what's happening. Accept it and, you know, move on. I think I would also overthink just anxiety so much too, and it's a lot more simpler than like your brain thinks. Like, you make things, like with anxiety, you make things a lot more like confusing than they actually are. And yeah, so that's really it. So I don't know if this video even made sense at all. I literally just woke up and like wanted to film this video and just kind of talk about it. I don't even know if this is going to go on the internet, if this makes sense, but I wanted to be more honest with myself this year. I wanted to be more honest with you guys this year, and this is something that I went through, am going through, will probably continue to go through, and I'm not 100% better. I will tell you that for sure. And this is really honestly just the start of my journey. I'm continuing with therapy, learning different coping mechanisms for myself, you know, yoga, meditating, different things like that, just to help calm me down. But this is the start of my journey, and if any of you guys are dealing with anything mental health wise, you can get through it. You will get through it, and it is real, and those feelings that you're having are real, and it's hard. I'm not going to tell you guys that it's easy. It's hard to go through, but you guys are strong. You will do it. I got through some of the hardest stuff that I thought I was never going to get through, and I just want you to know that you're not alone. And I know that a lot of people say that, but you really aren't alone. Like, people that you think are completely okay might not be okay, so make sure to check up on your friends. Make sure your friends are okay, because like I said, I was always the one who was like the life of the party, always like doing amazing, just loving life, and truly I was going through something much deeper than that. And I just really wanted to share my story with you guys. And if you guys want me to continue to do videos on this sort of thing and just everything that I've been going through, let me know, because I can definitely continue to film my journey. I want to be as open with you guys as I possibly can. So I guess let me know in the comments below if you want to see more about this journey and like what goes on with it. But sorry about this not so happy fun video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learn more about me or learn something about this, how to help your friends or how to help yourself, or just that the story like inspired you in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, so that's it. Right, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.